Hey and welcome, I'm Solo and this is ZN Gaming. In this video, I'll be going over how to stop your music from saving to your Twitch VODs. Before I waste any more time, let's jump into it. For this example, I will be using a software called Sonar by SteelSeries. There's lots of other things you can use like Voicemeeter Banana and the Beacon software also. That being said, for this example, I'll be using the software called Sonar, and to get that, let's just jump over to Google and search for Sonar by SteelSeries. This should just load up. The first one should say Sonar by SteelSeries. Once it loads up, it's just going to bring you to a free download. Just click the download. It's going to say for Windows 10, but it works with Windows 11 just fine. If you're using Mac or anything else, you're going to have to find a different piece of software to split your audio. Once it's done downloading, we're just going to install it like any other application. We're going to open the downloads, and we're just going to double click it from here. Click yes. This is just going to bring you through the installer. You're going to select your language, click OK. And it's just next, agree to the terms and services, and then it's going to take a minute here to install. It should only take a minute or two to install, and then we're just going to click finish. If this is your first time loading up SteelSeries, it's going to ask you if you have an account or if you don't have an account. Now, I definitely suggest making an account just so that you can save profiles and other things, but if you don't have an account or don't want to make one, you can click on the I don't have a SteelSeries account, and you can actually skip this step for now if you don't want to create an account. For me, I'm going to log in with my username and password. Once you're logged in, or if you happen to skip that, the first thing it's going to ask you, it's going to say you're in, and it's going to give you these here 4 things. It's going to say moments, engine, giveaways, and sonar. We want to make sure that we uncheck the moments because we don't want to be capturing and editing clips and stuff like that. We just want this here for our music. We do not want it to make any other changes to our stream or our computer. After that, just click let's go. And from here, we're just going to need to set up one thing. So we're going to go to Sonar. This is going to ask us to select our playback and our input. So here, make sure that you set whatever it is you're using for streaming. So for me, this is going to be my speakers right now, but I would definitely change this to a headset if you have it, and the microphone. For me, this is going to be the webcam because I'm using the microphone on the other computer, but make sure these are the ones that you're using on stream that you have selected here, so that when you're streaming, these audio are going to be set up correctly, and click next. For this, we're just going to leave this here off and click next again. It's going to take a moment and configure all your devices, and then it's going to say game on. So we're just going to click game on to continue. And there we go, the install process is done and everything is almost set up. The last thing that we're going to need to do is, depending on what you're playing music from, so if you're playing music with Spotify or YouTube, it's going to be 2 different things you're going to need to do. The first one is, if you're playing something from, let's say, YouTube, you're going to need to move your browser source over to the media. If you're using something like Spotify, you're going to need to launch it now, and you're going to need it playing so that you can see it. Okay, well, we get Spotify set up there. First one is going to be, if you're playing YouTube and you're using a web browser, all you're going to need to do is select it in the list, and we're going to drag it over to media. Now, we're going to see it in the media, and we're not going to see it in the game. You can still hear it because I'm recording what's coming into my headphones, but nothing in OBS will be able to see this at all when I add it. And it would be the same thing for any media player. If you're using Windows Media Player or Spotify, all you're going to need to do is just open it. It doesn't necessarily have to be playing something, and do the same thing. Drag it over so that it's in the media one. Make sure it's in there. We're going to click pause, and we're done. We're just going to leave this here open. We're going to move this here over to the side, and that's everything we need to do in here. So once you've moved your Spotify and your web browser, if you're using YouTube, or your Windows Media Player, once those are set up in the apps, everything else is in the games, we're going to open OBS. Now, when we installed SteelSeries, it changed a few things. If we go down here and click on our sound sources, we're going to see that we have a lot of different ones. So we want to make sure that our desktop is always going to be SteelSeries Sonar Gaming. This is going to be the same one that's in here, and this is where you're going to select your speakers. So in this drop down, make sure that it's always your streaming, whatever it is you listen to, your speakers, headphones, whatever it is that you're streaming on, make sure that is always the one that's selected inside of SteelSeries. If you change it here in your Windows settings, it's going to mess everything up. So make sure that you have this here correct one selected, the SteelSeries Sonar Gaming. From here, we're just going to close this here down. We're going to need to go into the settings, and we're going to need to make 2 changes in here. In the audio tab, it's going to say that we have no desktop audio. So we're going to select the desktop audio here. The first one we want is the gaming. So this is going to be the gaming one. This is going to be basically your desktop audio now. And for the desktop audio too, this is where we're going to select the media. So all the way down at the bottom, it'll be the SteelSeries Sonar media. And that's all we're going to need to do is make sure that the gaming one is selected for your main desktop and your desktop audio is the Sonar media, and click apply. That's all we're going to need to do here in the audio. We're going to click OK, and now that we know that our desktop is here, we're going to turn on our music. We see that it plays in the audio too, and everything else is going to come up in the desktop. We put the browsers in there as well, so if I turn something up on YouTube, it's going to come up in the desktop too. So all of this stuff in the desktop too, we do not want this here to save to stream. So everything that you have set to the media, we don't want it to save to our Twitch VODs. But to do that in the advanced audio properties, so we can just click these three dots and go down to advanced audio properties, and it's going to have tracks here, and it's going to have track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can select what tracks to put stuff on. So we want to set track 1 as checkmark for everything. So we want desktop 1 and desktop 2 on audio track 1. And on audio track 2, we only want the main desktop audio. We do not want any music or anything that you do not want to save to your VOD. Make sure that it's unchecked. So if you have other audio sources in here that you don't want to save to your Twitch VOD, you can just make sure that they're not on track 2. So the only one that should be on track 2 for us is going to be the main desktop audio, and we're going to click close. Now back over in the settings, we can go down here to the output tab. Now for the streaming settings, it does say audio track. So this is going to be the audio track that's going to be playing when you're live. And the Twitch VOD track is going to be the one that saves to your Twitch VOD. So we're going to give this here a check, and we're going to select number 2. Now, if you remember back when we set up the advanced audio properties, there's no music, there's no alerts, there's no YouTube on track 2. So it will not save that stuff to track 2. So when you're live, they're going to hear everything that you have added to track 1. They're going to hear everything. So they're going to hear the music, they're going to hear the game, they're going to hear the alerts or whatever you have added to track 1. And if you want to save your VODs without music or without YouTube, without browser sources, etc., you can just make sure they're not selected for track 2 in the advanced audio properties. So for us, like again, audio track 1 and the Twitch VOD track we want to be 2. And again, we'll go back here and we'll check the advanced audio properties and make sure that we have the track with our music, which is desktop audio 2. Make sure there's no check mark for number 2. Now the next time that we go live, none of my music will save to my Twitch VOD. But when you're in chat, when I'm live, you're going to be able to hear everything on track 1. So you're going to be able to hear the full experience if you're there when it's live. And once you're done streaming, the audio that's actually going to be saved to the VOD is only going to be your desktop audio, your game, etc. Whatever it is that you have added there. And you can definitely change that up at any time. All you need to do is open your SteelSeries, and anything that you want to take away from here, like if you need your browser source audio back, you can turn it on. It'll show up. Just drag it back. It's that easy. So if you need to listen to some YouTube or you're showing chat something, you can just drag it back and forth. You will need to open the Sonar software to do this, but I think this is a very easy compromise. If you've used Voice Meter Banana before, you understand that this here is a very much easier way than a lot of the other ways, and this will stop you from getting any kind of copyright strikes or muted VODs. So this isn't going to wreck near as many clips, and I definitely suggest setting this up if you're saving a lot of your clips, because if you happen to listen to music at the same time when you're playing, it's going to potentially ruin a bunch of clips that you're not going to be able to use, and this is just going to save you. It's going to save all your clips. It's going to prevent your music from saving to any of your stuff, and it's going to prevent any kind of issues that it might cause you for having the music on. It's pretty easy to set up, as you see in the steps, and once you have it set up the way that you like it, you don't need to keep this here open. It should launch automatically. It doesn't use a whole bunch of resources, and it hasn't given me any issues yet. But that's all there is to it. This here's all set up, and you're done. You're good to go. Next time you're live, none of your music's going to save to your VODs. I hope this here helped you get things set up. If you think I forgot or left something out, definitely leave it in the comments below. And if you like or found the video helpful, hit the thumbs up and get subscribed for more content. Thanks for watching.